You ever wonder who your parents really are? This is a story about a young man who thought he knew the answer to that question, but it turns out he was wrong. And what he discovered was way more shocking than he could have ever imagined. Growing up, this young man had always felt different from his family. His parents were poor and uneducated and lived in a small, run-down house. He had always suspected that he was adopted because he didn't look anything like them. But they told him that they found him as a baby in a basket outside their house and that they had no idea who his real parents were. They had simply named him Alex and raised him as their own. As Alex grew older, he became more curious about his past. Why did they choose to name him Alexander? Why did they treat him so differently from other adopted children? Why did they work long and hard hours while he was at school? Were they ashamed of him? Or was there some other reason why he had been chosen for this life? One night, while looking for his birth mother, he stumbled upon a hidden box filled with old family photos. There was one photo in particular that stood out to him. It showed a much younger version of his parents standing in front of a big, beautiful house. Who were these people? What was this place? Why did his parents work there? And why did they seem so happy? In the photo, there were two other people he didn't recognize, a man and a woman. He asked his parents who they were, but they simply said that they didn't know and tried to change the subject. But Alex wasn't having it. He continued to ask questions until they finally admitted the truth. They told him that the people in the photo were his real parents. He was the son of a wealthy couple who lived in that big house. They had taken care of him since he was a baby, but after many years of mistreatment, they had kidnapped him and raised him as their own. All those years of working long and hard hours, it was all to pay for his education. They wanted him to have a better life than the one they had. For a moment, Alex couldn't believe what he was hearing. His real parents were alive. All those years he'd spent searching for them, they had been searching for him too. But why did they give him up in the first place? They told him that his real parents had treated them like dirt, like they weren't human, just things to be thrown away. They hated him for being born into wealth and privilege, for being the reason they had to work so hard. They had taken him from his parents' home when he was still just a baby. They had planned to raise him as their own, to love him as their own, even if it meant they would never see their own parents again. Alex felt betrayed. How could he have been so close to his parents all those years and not known the truth? He thought about his real parents, wondering why they had given him up. Did they hate him, too? The truth was, they hadn't. His parents had simply been too poor to take care of him. They had no choice but to leave him on the doorstep of the wealthy family, hoping that someone would take care of him, hoping that he would have a better life than the one they could offer him. Alex was torn. On one hand, he had the people who had raised him, who had loved him and cared for him his whole life. And on the other hand, he had the family he never knew he had. The family that had been searching for him all those years. Which one did he belong to? That's all for today. See you next time.